Hey everybody, welcome to the nightly vid. We saw a lot of random stuff today, so I'm just gonna take a look at the SPY. Up and down and up and down and then up, and you can see how that works. At the 60, what do we talk about, right? Find your broadening formation. Is that a lower low and a higher high? That's a broadening formation. And then you want to know when you get out of it. Right here, boom, expansion, right? You can see that's when you get that nice directional move. Now, all that did was make it a little bigger, and we're still an inside week. So the question is, are we going to get out of this? In this case, after hours, things are coming back in a little bit. So with the inside weeks, we're getting new daily broadening formations, daily outside bars, which is what you can expect during inside weeks. That being said, we saw some move down, right? IDBM specifically, we got almost the whole target in here, and after hours, it's still going down. So that's what we mostly traded in the morning. There was some really good stuff from Sarah's list here. Docu, look at this. So she got the inside week pivot machine gun, boom, and still has a ways to go. But notice in one day, 2 up, 2 down reversal into the weekly, into the daily PMG, into the weekly PMG. That's what we look for. So cool stuff, Sarah. Nicely done. And she alerted on that here at 8:43 when it broke at 81 bucks, traded 72.40 or 72.09 at the close. Crazy stuff. And forgive me, my mouth is just hurting, a little cut in my mouth. So as we get through this, there's normally a lot of talking on these. I'm going to try and cut down on that. It's 10:30 at night, so let's get it done. With the new month and new quarter, we'll take a look at our 2 down in greens. Most things just went up last quarter, so be aware of that. But we got our macro quarter vid. And just give me 1 second. Getting our notes organized here so we can get going. All right, 2 down in green. UNH. That's something you might want to know about. And as we go to the next quarter, 322. Obviously, they've had a pretty far drop here, but at least we'd love to see them recover at least like half of that, right? And maybe it keeps going to all-time highs. They're still one of the biggest healthcare providers. Berkshire Hathaway, Berk.B. Setting up the 222 to all-time highs. Wix setting up the 2-2 reversal. And what we can do is get this up here so we got all the time frames. Oops. A year down at the bottom, quarter, month, week. All right. So Wix, this comes off of our monthly video going into the new month last month. You'll see the 2-2, actually 3-2-2, boom. With the quarterly, we're going to have magnitude potentially back up into 240. Clorox, you can see slight green, but we are inside year down, so this would actually be more likely to go momentum. Aflac. Sorry, we're a little slow here. We're going to start speeding things up. So 3-2 month last month. Setting up the 3-2-2 quarter for the insurers. This 2-2 year still good. tells you to look at progressive, PGR. Not so much, but hammer month. Gotta group those together. Get all state. 3 on the month, already going up. AAON in the industrials. See, coming off of new lows to last quarter's range. 3-2 month already occurred, setting up a 2-2 quarter back through previous range. I tend not to trade industrials very often. FNF in the financials would be a 3-2-2 on the quarter. And we're starting to get into some of the low volatility names. Let's see, HIMS. 2x long HIMS ETF. Looks like we have some data problems there. JD in the Chiners, slightly setting up. I'm just sticking away from the Chiners myself. Verizon, inside month to trigger RevStrat quarter. It is a 2-up year. Got a yearly broadening formation Verizon. Tells you maybe AT&T, which you see on the weekly, they triangle out to the downside. Maybe big PMG day. If they were to start firming those things up, that covers most of your quarterlies there, 2 down in green. Let's go hammer. We have just as few on the hammer. LLY, crazy day today. Look at that. In your healthcares. Last night, we mentioned healthcares, if you recall. This is the last thing we'll talk about from today specifically. Healthcares, UNH, Amgen, BDX, right? So we didn't have LLY on there, but you could have, right? Hammer day. Amgen, boom, right? Notice this. We don't have to be the first one. Right in here, they go inside on what? 30, and then boom, RevStrat, slight lower low, boom, then inside down, reduce. This is what we look for stuff right there. UNH, not so much. BDX, oh yeah, that's what you look for. That being said, that'll be on the inside quarter list. But LLY, well, a nice hammer quarter. I really like that. I'm going to put a star next to it. We like PMGs. As you can see from today's action, right? That's a PMG. Got a lot of healthcares. ABT will have the RevStrat quarter in healthcares. Exis or Exas, I never say it out loud. EXAS, hammer quarter. Not as crazy as the other ones. At least it doesn't tend to be. You see how the monthly hammer times the reclaim in here. Trying to go the other way. TGTX, nice hammer quarter. Nice 2-2 month last month. Just continuing this week. ECHC. They've been selling it, but maybe they're done selling. Could be the case. So a lot of healthcares. You take a look at then. Let's go shooters on the downside of things. Kraft Heinz, momentum shooter. So I'm having trouble in Kraft Heinz. Now, when they're at $20 like that, I tend to just stick away. You see BRM or BMRN has momentum shooter, but it's at 50. So if it's going towards 0, you got a lot more distance to make that happen. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-year inside bar down. So you got 6 more years for that to go to 0. We go to REST, BAH Technologies, momentum shooter, and you can see similarly it's at 100, so you got a little bit more distance to go after. Is at the recent lows on the month here, so just gotta be aware of that. Nice shooter year though, so if that kicks in, could spell trouble. All right, 2-up shooters. Let's see. Oh, we forgot to do 2-up hammers. What am I doing? Proud momentum hammer. Notice the potential inside week up to trigger that potential 3-2 month. We love the look of that. See the daily outside day 3-2 to trigger it. So that will be on the list for focus tomorrow morning. At 4 in the healthcare COR. Momentum hammer. Went 3-2 last month. Notice 3-month inside bar up. Long green bars. And the reason that inside bar up matters and that 3-2 month matters is you're expanding a broadening formation. Lower lows, hammer, higher highs, inside bar keeps going. So question is, do they keep them moving? You will also have Z-scaler PNW. Z-scaler momentum hammer. You can see we had some nice little short setups in here, but they did recover. Daily triangle expansion, potential for the 3-2 month. And we have the daily setup for tomorrow to trigger that all. You can also be watching that tomorrow with crowd. Tech momentum hammer quarter, and we have, I believe this is materials company, right? Yes, so we have a lot of government interest in materials companies. Imagine this is probably very similar. And I'm sorry if I don't sound super excited today. I'm just simply like my mouth hurts a little bit. So let's just keep it going. You'll see the very nice 3-2-2 last month with nice daily triangle layout to get in there. Right here. Buy, hammer, buy. There you go. And a lot of nobodies. All right, let's go to 2-up shooter. Got 57 of those names, which is interesting. It's... All right, we have some fun stuff to talk about here. Let's see coin. So coin would be a 3-2-2 quarter down if that kicks in. Now it doesn't have to kick in, and they could firm things up. In this case, you can see we recently took last month's highs and we're still below that. So we'll see. They did strat attack to the upside this week, so it's probably not going down this week. Maybe later this quarter they try and kick it, but we'll see. Question mark. RH. It's already an outside year, so personally I'm not as interested. If you are interested in outside year expansion, trying to get that bigger, you got the shooter quarter. Burlington Coat Factories. potentially the 2 up, 2 down reversal quarter after yearly magnitude from last year. Or a 2, 2, 2, 2 down, 2 up, 2 down. Boeing could also potentially go 3, 2, 2 with a 3, 2 month. So for the downside, I do like that. And you can see they have not had a green day right here Thursday. Besides that, sellers have been winning out in Boeing. Buyers are getting their price. Capital One Financial at the financials puke today, which we'll mention from this morning. What did we do this morning? Right here. 2-2, or actually 3-2-30 pivot machine gun. Boom. Regionals. 2 up, 2 down, pivot machine gun. Boom. Right, and you can see COF, boom, and then very slight recovery, so not as much. In this case, could become a 3-2-2. Now, is it likely that's going to follow all the way through? Depends. If we get the whole financials to doing that, would be more likely, but we don't see that. So it would have to be singled out. KKR is also a little bit similar. Boulder will have the shooter quarter, confirming shooter year with an outside month. That's something we like to see. Amazon, surprisingly, got the shooter quarter and the shooter month. Affirm has the shooter quarter. They have not been doing good recently. Same with Upstart. Affirm with a star. We got shooter quarter plus inside month PMG. Now, would we want to short it right at the open on the month? Maybe, right? Maybe it stays down, but we'd want to see them triangle out first. So you don't want to see them tick down and then triangle out, get there going. Materials NUE. So you'll see the shooter quarter. However, you also got this daily triangle. So, with material companies recently, they have been trying to change things around with the government and whatnot. You also have the yearly triangle. So we'll have to see. Zillow or Z? Is it Zillow? Yeah, Zillow. No lower lows yet, so it's been a while. We have this monthly 3-2 potentially. We also will have a daily triangle in here. So when it comes to these signals, they have to become enforced, right? We need to get outside of last quarter's range, last month's range. Very important concept. But below last month's lows, it's interesting. Healthcare's ILMN and ILMN shooter quarter. Wow, there's a lot of names on this list. ANF, Abercrombie and Fitch shooter quarter. You will see some daily broadening information here again. So this is why it's important, right? It's a shooter, but let's say we go 2-2 day tomorrow. Is that still a PMG up? It is, right? So it matters. Are we a 2 up or 2 down? What's happening? If we go 2 down month next month, is that still a PMG month? It is. So it matters, right? Is it going up or down on the day to get those bigger time frames breaking? It's also 2-2 year down. However, they could recover from that. Reclaim it. Guild would be the rev strat into monthly PMG as well. Did not yet make all-time highs, so we'd have to be aware of that. Star next to it because we got the month to trigger the quarter. You also would have the day to trigger the month to trigger the quarter. So tomorrow morning could become an interesting one. And we will get to the cryptos and whatnot. We're not quite there. That'll be towards the end if you're waiting for it. Dollar Tree, the shooter quarter. And you'll see what causes that shooter quarter. Well, 2-2 month on the second month of the quarter, breaking the third month of the quarter. Sets up shooter quarter. Beautiful. Still an inside year, so this would be lower highs if they're going to bring them back in. And I just like the look of that one. Looks nice. Pepsi. Youch. Ain't that 2 going 3 months, so it'd have the 2-2 month to trigger the quarter if staples go quarter down, which, you know, we can group those together. So we'll go XLP, Pepsi, Coca-Cola would be inside quarter. Include that on a different list. Or what am I looking at? Pause. These quarterly charts look different. Why is that? Huh. I've never seen that before. Now it looks different. Wait. You guys see what I'm seeing? So it's a 1 here. Oh, is this adjusted for dividends? That's the only thing that would do it, right? There it is. So it's already a 2 down. My bad. Let's see. The NDAQ, that doesn't look good. So you got some interesting financial names. Some of the bigger guys could become 3-2-2 down next quarter. Co-Star, CSGP. So they go up. Shooter could bring them back through all this stuff. Now still, you know, this wouldn't be the biggest move, 40%. First target's here, 15%. Depending on how good those options are and how low volatility, you know, or how low they are pricing the volatility, maybe it's good here. Let's try and go back to that 4-screen setup. We can have everything up here. No monthly signal, no weekly signal. So we'll see. Not going to be on my list. I'm going to be picky. At least pickier. Nike shooter quarter. No monthly signal, no weekly signal. Already made the new lows here on the year, so they could try and frame a recovery off that, but that quarter shooter is not going to help out. Starting to get into some of the nobodies. All right, so that's all we got, the shooters. Let's go look at the inside quarters. Specifically, we'll start with 3 1s. As always, highest ATR to lowest, so we get those big boys at the top. Netflix. Inside quarter Netflix. That'll be fun. You see how that inside quarter it'll look like this. High and low of these 3 months. All right, so how can we get out of that? Same thing's true here in the week. How are we going to get out of this stuff? Right? IBM inside quarter hammer. Oh, yeah. that'd be your 312. Visa. So you see Visa lulling them to sleep, right? The last 3 months. Just look at this on the week. Blech. All right, nothing. Now, either side of this can get our attention. The month is also going to be an inside month, so we like that too. Visa is always a very fun one. Those options are good. STLD. Double inside week. 3-1 quarter. No monthly setup. 2 going 3 year though. So you got at least 9% to target. Got some pivots to go after here. It could go reversal tomorrow. We got day to trigger week to trigger quarter. Confirming year, confirming the month 2 up. Alrighty. RBRK, this is one I like because of the inside quarter. And recently, we picked up on this. You can see when you go inside quarter, they kills. Boom, big 3. Now we can go back to 100, hopefully. What we're looking for. It would start with a daily reversal tomorrow. It's already got a position there. Disney, 3-1 quarter, actually. 1-3-1 quarter. Light 2 down month. Nothing too interesting. You got an inside quarter. Right, maybe get it moving. Pizza, I believe that was that Papa John's. Yeah, Papa John's. Wisconsin favorite, at least in my opinion. You got the 3-1 quarter. No monthly setup, maybe a 2-2 back down. And then we have what? Inside week up this week. It is strat attack, so they started buying at the end of last quarter. Maybe it breaks up. Right, we got winter season coming. I might even order some tonight. That sounds pretty good, actually. Haven't had Papa John's in a minute. Chewy. Oh yeah, we love Chewy. They treat their customers right, and I think it's going to pay off for them eventually. You see these earnings, not too good. I have a feeling Chewy is like aggressively expanding, which I actually want to do some research here. So wait, let's take a look or not see. 14 cents a share, 15, 5 cents a share. Take a gander. And while it does that, we'll do something else. But I do like Chewy. Healthcare's SMMT, no thank you. Man, oh man. All right. So that covers that. We will talk about the threes quick. There's more inside quarters. I'm not going through all of them. We're going to stay in the top, 30% of that list just because there's 157 names. I'm good. And we will hit them on the scanner. The cool thing is if you have the strat scanner, all you do next quarter is say who's 2 up, who's 2 down. That's who you're trading. And no thoughts needed. John Deere. So you can see another inside quarter John Deere. There's 157 names, right? So core weave, inside quarter momentum hammer, 2-2 month setting up, and they had a gap up today. I like that. W day. The monthly signal does have the quarterly setup. If we get above last quarter's highs, you have PMG, Amgen, double inside quarter, Rev Strat month. Obviously, they had a nice day today. So let's see that. We could sit here all day, right? ADP. Ooh, that could be a good one for tomorrow too. Daily to trigger outside week, Rev Strat to trigger maybe a 2-2 month, to trigger maybe a quarter. Now it is Doji year at this point, which should give you some pause, but you got Pivot Machine Gun, all these guys. So if they start buying 2-2 month, you got some range to come back through. And I bet the liquidity on those options is pretty good. And if it's not, I also bet the volatility is not priced in. Right? If it does this in like a week, it's going to be a ton of money. They do have earnings coming up, so aware of that. All right. Inside. Put that one on tomorrow's focus for the morning, ADP. Let's see. There's so many things, right? Bang. This gets us into the energies, which I don't want to have to dive into quite yet. But energies inside quarter, maybe PMG up. XOP ticked the quarter up, didn't really go anywhere, but closer to the month down. OIH, 2-2 quarter up last quarter. Now, in this case, it could PMG the other way, right? And when price is grinding like this, it likes to really whip people around like this. So either 2 up month, or if we tick 2 down, we might take all these guys out quick. So I'm actually going to set an alert here. We do come back down there. For sake of time, I'm not going to list out all the energy names. I'll just tell you that there's a chunk of them on there, and we trade those all the time. XOM, CVX, XOP, COP, blah, blah, blah. Right? McDonald's double inside quarter, outside month. You got 3. There's your monthly broadening formation, McDonald's right here. Tick up, tick down. Double inside week currently. Waste management, inside quarter. Almost triangled out the month, but slight lower lows. All right. We're going to start just ripping through. We don't have too much else to talk about. Just a few names. We're going to take a look at T-Mobile double inside quarter. See? COP in the energies inside quarter. With XOM. Starbucks inside quarter with Disney. Healthcare's XLV is inside quarter. So we'll mention that. Look at this PMG and XLV. So Make sure we got that there. On. Cyclicals inside quarter closer to breaking down. Crazy. A lot of people love those shoes that I know. All right, starting to get some low volatility stuff, so that covers that. All right, what am I missing? Outside quarters? Of course, right? There's always more. And thank God we had all the outside quarters last quarter. Thank God I don't want to have to speak this long. All right, Mondelez outside quarter. And why do you scan for that? Right? It's a broadening formation. So what do you wait for? Weekly signals? Monthly signals? Whatever goes back through that or expands it. That's what you want to wait for. Outside of that, LW, never heard of it. Marvel long daily ETF. It went quarterly reversal last quarter. So that's it. Not much. And we only scan 1/3s on our scan site right now. There is a way where I can scan maybe. I think once we get to next month, we'll be able to scan and actually get all the 3s. But at this point, that is one limitation we do have. That being said, I didn't look at the monthlies. I really don't want to. What I'm going to do is I will look at those monthlies tomorrow night. And, you know, if you're in stratalerts.ai tomorrow morning, we're going to be looking at those monthly scans, like what's going on up or down, and see where they're going to start the new month, to start the new quarter. That being said, guys, hopefully you have had a good trading day, good week so far. I know it's slow to start, but with the new quarter coming up, there's going to be a lot of things we can talk about. That being said, this is your quarterly macro vid. We got a little bit of focus for tomorrow. We will be looking at all these names as we get throughout the week, throughout the new quarter, because every single one of these is written for a reason. If there's stars next to it, that's something I'm in, or I'm looking to get in, or I just like for my personal reasons. So you can go and take a look at that. But that's all I've got for you guys. Have a good night, and I'll see you guys with some monthly stuff coming out in a different video. We'll call it the monthly vid, and we'll go through the monthly stuff. Adios.